What's up, y'all? This is Leigh with Pop Evil. And if you're not in the now, you're in the nothing. So, that's what's up.
Let it ride! When you're high, who you flying for? When you ride, who you riding for? When you toast, who you drinking for? When you play, gotta deal with the devil. Gotta deal with the devil. Gotta deal with the devil. Gotta deal with the devil.
What's up in the now, friends and family? Sitting here with Leigh of Pop Evil over here at the Cotillion, getting ready to rock the stage here in a little bit.
Can't wait to be back here
Awesome.
at the Cotillion tonight. It's going to be awesome. So it's going to be, you already can tell there's rowdiness in the air, so we can't wait to play tonight.
That's how you can tell Pop Evil's in the house, right? There you go.
Here.
There you go. Good to see you again. The last time we caught up with you, it was a little warmer weather, I'd say.
A lot warmer.
Yeah, Sacramento,
Yeah.
doing the Aftershock Festival, where Pop Evil is rocking it out there as well.
Right.
So I hear you guys have been doing a tour up in, like Canada and some other parts here?
Yeah, we did Canada with Papa Roach, and
Mm-hmm.
did of course some East Coast, U.S. dates as well, and it was just an awesome tour. Did some headlining stuff after that. Continued to do the Christmas shows through, and then of course branch off to the big tours start next year.
And I got to ask, the recently announced tour that's coming in 2014 has got a lot of people talking. We're talking Stone Sour with Pop Evil, starting off at the House of Blues, is it? In Florida? Yeah, middle of January, right?
It's just awesome. I mean, one of our favorite bands growing up was Stone Sour. I mean, Corey is just such a great, obviously being a frontman, he's such an icon and such a role model, and to be able to be out there with this band, and especially Stone Sour with the success that they've had this year. They've had a great year. With such a massive album they just put out, and of course Pop Evil being at the biggest we've ever been with our album. It'll be right when Deal with the Devil is kind of peaking. We'll be doing that tour, so it's just perfect timing, and it's two great bands. I think that, and of course there's more bands as well. But for us, both bands, it's just awesome. We can't wait to just kind of delve in. We're going to recharge our batteries though during the holidays and get geared up to give the fans their money's worth. It's going to be an awesome year.
No, and that's so true. And speaking of the album, Onyx just dropped this year, and we're talking, like you just said, Deal with the Devil, Trenches. I mean, there's so many singles out on there. So, how you feeling the fans are receiving this now? I mean, after all this time out, are you seeing them singing it back to you? Like, what do you get? What do you get when you're up in the front?
It's humbling. I mean, for us, we kind of reinvented the wheel on how we record albums and what we do in the studio, and the band was very supportive of each other. I think that individually we all came into our roles this album, instead of Johnny K, our producer, letting him kind of dictate and tell us what he wanted us to do. We were it was the flip side of this album. We're like, look, we are the ones that have to play these songs for the rest of our lives, not you. This is what we want to do on the record. This is what the band wants to do. This is what we want to do on our parts. This is where we want to take the songs. And for the first time in our recording experience, we were able to say, this song's not good enough. Whereas when the songs were done last time, they're done. We didn't have the say, or maybe we didn't have the confidence in the studio in the early times, but in the previous albums. But this time around, it really felt like there was a sense of urgency, and there was a all or nothing. And we just kind of really came after it and held ourselves accountable for our parts and our positions, and it was just awesome to see the hard work pay off, and now to see the fans singing all the lyrics, and even songs that aren't the singles, to see them embrace us as a headlining band this holiday season, and as we started the fall. It's just awesome. But to finally start the new year being direct support for Stone Sour, it's just what we need to get that exposure and hopefully get the band where it needs to be. And what a greater band to tour with than Stone Sour. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And last time we caught up with you, we were talking with you about the formula that makes Pop Evil, and here you are just describing it.
Right.
Years later, you've been out there doing the circuit for a good bit. It's no stranger that Pop Evil's been everywhere.
Right.
And here you have Onyx, and you've got the hits, like you said, and then the videos to boot with that, where you're also the star of one of them. It's one of these ominous figures.
Well,
the Deal with the Devil.
Right.
It's a concept based on a trilogy.
Right.
For fans that didn't realize that, and for those that do, they're very eager to see how this trilogy unfolds, but it's in a prequel format, if you will. Yeah. So here we are, possibly expecting, I'm not sure if you're allowed to talk about it yet, but for Behind Closed Doors, if I'm not mistaken,
right,
as the final piece to that.
Yeah.
So what can we expect, and if I may ask, when can we expect that?
Well, I think it's coming out in the next week or two, so I'm trying to keep it as hush as possible, because we want people to support and watch it, and it's just awesome. You know, we had an opportunity to shoot videos, and in this day and age, it's harder and harder to shoot a rock and roll music video. Labels, it's a very thin line whether labels want to support that or managers want to do that. So, we fought for an idea we had, and the band had an idea to do kind of a trilogy. If we had a chance to shoot a video, why don't we shoot 3 and kind of tell a bigger picture? We have a lot of female fans. Obviously, if you've seen our video for Trenches, we took a different approach to the song. We're here to help people at the end of the day. Music is helpful. Well, you have a choice. You can pop evil is. You can take the high road selfishly for yourself, or you can take it for somebody else. And I'm sure we do that at different points. We bounce back and forth on that. Obviously, we're trying to pay our bills and survive as individuals, but collectively as a team, we've always thought of this thing as a sports thing. We always care. Everyone's got a place. There's 5 members. Everyone's got a starting position. Everyone's a starter. Everyone brings a certain element to this band and to the team, even our crew. And I think when we had a chance to shoot these videos, it was so important that, each story, could be linked and it could serve a bigger purpose. And I think that you'll see that when you finally get to see the trilogy. It turned out amazing. I mean, I know the band, I think we really only got to see it once or twice. The label's been on lock. They won't even let us see it till the release. So it's just incredible. And if you like the videos individually, seeing them all together is really going to kind of tie the loose ends. And I think it's going to really help people. And at the end of the day, if it helps one other person, then, our mission's accomplished. I mean, Onyx was written from a dark place, and to see so much positive feedback coming back from the release of it, it's just humbling. It's awesome to see.
That is amazingly. And then, so you're mentioning the labels, so working with E1 Music,
Right.
How is it working with them on not even just the videos, though, but just the music, the songwriting, the elements that each band member gets to bring to the composition and the arrangement even? Do you find that you have a lot of freedom with that aspect of it, if you know what I mean?
I think we do. I mean, I think E1's been phenomenal to give us the artist, what do you say, the artist creativity, where we could just kind of do the things we wanted to do. I mean, obviously we work, hand in hand with our management, getting some kind of an outside ear visually or, lyrically. Is this where we want to go? Is these lyrics sound good? Is this where the, the guitar tone should be at? Is this where the rhythm is? So, I mean, there's definitely some outside opinions coming in, but they're more trustworthy of, we're the ones playing these songs for the rest of our careers, and they're very, I think, generous to give us that kind of, I guess, control of our art. And I think we're very lucky and very blessed to be in the position we are, and I think E1's been a big part of that.
No, that's incredible. Yeah, it sounds like it's been a great working experience with them,
Right.
and then the promotion of y'all, like I said, has been amazing from that aspect. So we're already talking about 2014. We already talked about the Stone Sour
Right.
tour, and then your tour that you just came off, with Papa Roach, I think it was. So, who is there anything you're allowed to speak of yet, or who are we expecting to maybe go on the road with, or maybe as your own headliner with other supporting acts after the Stone Sour gig, leading into the summer?
I think what we're going to try to do after Stone Sour is really try to get into into Europe and try to take this thing more worldwide. I mean, we finally closed the deal where we could really kind of break in overseas, and where that takes us, it's still up in the air. I know that the logistics are being worked out as we speak, and we can't wait for it. I know the band's kind of like waiting with bells on just to get out and expose our music to the masses and get overseas and just play. Because I mean, if you haven't heard and you don't know, people over the river there, they just absolutely live rock music, and it's just great to be amongst people that still believe in rock and roll, and I think that it's being around those kind of people that we can come back as, a U.S. American band and kind of give that kind of good vibe and that aura, send it back here with the fans that still come out to live shows, still bring their energy, and, slowly but surely be among the bands that reminds people that, rock and roll is what's made this country, what it is. I mean, you think about the early roots, I mean, rock and roll has been there, in some form of rock. And, we feel very honored and privileged to be, among that story. And we feel responsible to do our part. And I think that's after the Stone Sour tour. Hopefully, if we can get overseas, we're going to continue to do that. And then, see where the year takes us. This business is not easy to plan anything.
Yeah.
But, we're just going to make sure we bring it live every night. And I know the guys are excited to, add more to the live show as the band continues to grow. As debts become to get paid, we can, try.
There's money to be had in this thing?
No, that's
not just about music.
That's the rumor, right? But no, it's it's something that, to make it in this day and age, you really have to be driven. You really have to make that sacrifice, and it's certainly never been about the money for us. It's always been about not just the music. It's been about our band family. Again, something unique about Pop Evil is we all kind of started in our garages, and we all kind of, hey, let's team up with this guy and this guy, people we grew up with, and see what we can do. And so here we are. So that's something, again, we respect and we honor with our band, and something that we pride as we continue to grow in the years to come.
Oh, that is amazing, and that's leading into my next question. So when you guys are off the tours, and like you said, you're taking a little bit of downtime through the holidays, do you find that like when you're off the tour, you guys spread out to the four winds, or do you still kind of stay in touch? Everyone's probably, my guess is saying, hey, I wrote this or I sampled this, and you're still musically tied. I get that as musicians, that's got to be a natural thing.
Sure.
But aside from that, though, is there any do you guys go out to a bar, hang out, go to a show together?
I think normally when we get off, it's like for 3 or 4 days. So the answer to that is no. We try not to see each other because we're with each other all the time.
No, that makes sense.
If we're home for 2 weeks or more, we always end up running into each other, and we're always, hey, there's a show coming up, let's all get together. And we definitely, it's, if you go too long from each other, we'll start craving each other, missing each other. It's a fraternity, it's a fraternity of brothers, and to be able to create music and tour the world with your best friends is it's something that's undescribable unless you've experienced it. It's something that it's a work in progress. It's a relationship just like it is with your family and loved ones, but I think that's what's made us stronger, and hopefully we continue to bond and grow as individuals and as brothers, and hopefully that leads to even bigger and better music to come.
It definitely shows. You can see that on stage, and like I said, just how you greet and talk to fans. So it says a lot about you all. So it's good. It's definitely validated.
We just, we're fans too, and I think it's important to remember that, people are spending hard-earned dollars, and time is money, and people are spending their time with us. They could be anywhere, and I think that's what this rock format and genre has taught us over the years. It's that you can't take anything for granted, and it's appreciate the little things. So one day if you ever do get big or you have more, you can understand what it took to get there. And, in order to have something in life, you had to work to get it. And I think that's very prevalent in our blue-collar Michigan mentality roots. And I think it screams, when you see us individually or you talk to us, it's something that I think has just been instilled with us since we were kids.
No, that makes perfect sense. Like I said, just how you even meet and greet fans and interact.
Absolutely.
So, Leigh, if I were to ask you, who was one of your major influences in music? I know you've probably been asked this a million times, and there's so many to choose from, but if you had to really narrow it down, that you can say definitely influences your aspects into Pop Evil, who would that be?
I think there's tons. There's obvious ones, but I think the kind of interesting one that you wouldn't expect was probably my dad. I think that, I lost him on the last record as my best friend, first generation of this country. And I think that just his support, giving up anything he could to just make sure that the band was exposed to the best that they could possibly be, to support me both emotionally and, on the stage as well, and to make sure the equipment was the best we could have, and to push. I think without him, it wouldn't have mattered who the influences were. Mm-hmm. I would have been working a 9 to 5. I would have had no choice but to be able to allow me to mooch off him as long as I could, to say, look, Pops, I'm going to be a rock star. And he was like... He's like, instead of going, I don't know.
That's not going to pay the bills, is it?
Have a backup plan. He was always like, I think you should go for it. I think you should run it. I don't see why you couldn't be one, and I think, as a parent, saying that to a child, I think it just kind of, gave me the confidence as a front man to say, to work through the rough years, and maybe the voice wasn't there, the stage presence wasn't what it needed to be, to say, hey, I'm going to get better, I'm going to watch the film. I know we watched film on the band like a sports team. Every Monday's film day, just like back when I was playing college ball. It was like films on Monday or Sunday, depending on where the guys are. Yeah. And every week's different. I know we're all busy trying to get it done, but we try to have the moments with our meetings to say, hey, it's just like, college football, you'll have the receivers will go this way, the D-backs will go that way, the quarterbacks will go this way. Then basically in ours, it's the musicians, the 4 of the guys will go this way, and they'll talk about how the music can be tighter, what they can do beyond the stage presence. They'll come in and talk with them about where the vocals could go, because there's nobody better that can help you from a vocal standpoint or from a frontman standpoint than your brothers, because they get to watch you. They got a front row seat to watch what you do every night. So it's nice to be constructive and to take that criticism respectfully with a grain of salt. If you can't hear it from your brothers, you can't hear it from your peers, then how do you get better? And I think that Dad kind of kind of opened the door to make sure we were always open to criticism and always open to get better.
No, that makes perfect sense. They're our first role model, if you will. So it makes perfect sense. Excellent, answer. With that.
Yeah.
So, and lastly, if I were to ask you, Leigh, a lot of the fans, that follow everybody in the band, and especially yourself, they can easily find out what your interested are, or like sports teams and whatnot. What is something that you think that your fans may not know about you? It doesn't have to be some kind of dark secret or something, but like a hobby or something that most may not know. Is there something you want to share with them so they can kind of relate?
We don't really have lives right now, but when I used to get time off, I loved to golf. I golfed. I think I got to golf 2 times this summer.
What was the best of your game? Do you remember?
I'm about a bogey golfer, decent, but I was about a triple bogey that day. I only golfed twice, so I'm getting worse.
I got you.
Because I spend more time on stages and on the road, so I don't get to work on the skills. But I think as we get bigger and continue to get time off, I'm going to bring the clubs and try to get some free golf on the greatest golf course on the planet as you travel. But I got to do I got to go to the Players and do play TPC Sawgrass after Tiger, so I got to
cool.
I got to play I got to play the 17th hole, so I didn't really get to play the hole. They let me play the 17th hole.
Way awesome.
It was great. I shot 3 off the tee. First one right in the sand trap. The other 2 went right in the water where Sergio lost millions right in the same spot. So I gave a couple golf balls probably right next to Sergio's golf ball.
But it wasn't as costly.
It wasn't as costly for me. It's free. It was all free for me, so it was great.
Awesome.
Had a natty light. It was just, it was the way golf should be played. Cart, natty light,
There you go.
5 wedge,
So if this,
5 iron, because my sand wedge I probably would have easily duffed that, so it was good. But
So if this Pop Evil thing doesn't work out, we can see Leigh up on the PGA here, possibly. So just
probably
just
not.
Kinda,
Probably
no,
not. You
totally
could probably see me
Totally.
on a cart drinking, cheering someone else on. But
No, that's awesome.
No, you'll see me in the PGA. That was,
There
I
you
liked
go.
your first response. It'll be better.
There you go. There you go. Well, Leigh, thanks so much for your time, man.
Thanks
That's
for
all we
having
want
me,
to do
bud.
is catch up, get the fans caught up
Yeah.
with things coming on. A lot of exciting things with Pop Evil, not going anywhere. They're everywhere, actually. So
Thank
they
you
will be
guys.
going everywhere.
We thank
Yeah.
you guys. If
So-
not for the Evils, we got the best fans on the planet. Thank you for being behind us, giving us the biggest year we could have ever asked for. So hopefully we see you in 2014.
You
Love
got
you.
it.
Peace.
Leigh, Shabby in the now. We'll see you guys.
Oh, you're nothing.